Okay, so we're going to be talking today about identifying the Madrid glass line, depression glass line, made by the Federal Glass Company of Lancaster, Ohio in 1932 to 1939. Now, whoop, there's a picture right there. There's an actual piece, not something out of a book. Why are we talking about depression glass that we know we've already identified? Aha, because this line, along with a couple other lines of depression glass, have been reproduced. There are fakes out there. So, how do you spot the fake? How do you know if it's real? This is what we're going to be talking about on investigating a find. So, I'm looking at this, and I like the Madrid pattern. It is a pattern that I'm trying to collect because I'm going to try to sit that back a little bit. There we go. I like the squared and yet rounded edges of the plate. So the plates they're going to look just like this when you find them. I have yet to find any Madrid in the clear plates. I have the clear bowls. So the pattern to me almost looks like little mustaches. I don't know. For some reason, I just see a bunch of little mustaches. Now, people may say, why this pattern? Why not some of the, believe me, there are other patterns of depression glass that are way more beautiful than the Madrid line. It's just a sense of nostalgia because this was the first piece of depression glass that I picked up. Believe it or not, this was the first piece of depression glass that I picked up. It was a cake stand. I thought it was fabulous. Look at this foot. Now, it had a chip. It's got a big old chip down there, but I didn't care. Now, the candlesticks, trying to hold it there. The candlesticks are going to look just like the foot of this. That's also really easy to identify. What I didn't realize was that my pretty little cake plate is a fake. It's a reproduction. I'm not mad about it now. I don't even think I was mad about it when I found out about it because technically it is still vintage. It was reproduced, and there are two different styles of reproduction of this particular pattern, and we're going to go through that. But I'm not mad at it now. It sits, I use it. It looks really pretty. Of course, I don't use it to put cakes on. But I'm not mad about it now. I just want to make sure that everybody out there is aware that there are reproductions of this glass. So this is a fake. Let's move on to one of the other pieces that I have that is also reproduced in the Madrid line. Okay, so this is the other piece that is very, very highly reproduced. Butter dishes on their own are very difficult to get a hold of, especially a complete set of butter dishes from the Depression era. They broke, they got tossed. Quite frankly, depression glass itself is now becoming really hard to find. In the beginning, a couple years ago when I was going out, I used to find at least a piece of depression glass every time I went out. Now I'm not really finding it in my area. Now it could just be where I'm living. And I do have to travel quite a distance to find these things. So we're talking maybe an hour to 2 hour radius from where I live is where I'm out hunting, and I'm not seeing it as prevalent as it was. So like I said, butter dishes in and of themselves, really difficult to find because most of the stuff was chucked after the Depression in favor of, post-World War II pieces, which were fabulous in the beginning of the mid-century glass craze. So how do you tell if this is a fake or not? Now, the pattern is going to be the same on all the pieces, reproduction or not. The pattern is going to look the same. There's not any weird funkiness that they did to make that look different. What's going to be different is the originals from the 30s are going to have, you can see that seam line right there, going all the way around the equator, what is called the equator there. That is how you tell that this is an original piece. The reproductions run this way, all right? The reproductions run up and down. These run along the equator. That's how you're going to tell. And it's like that in the two different companies that did reproductions on this. The first company that did reproductions on this was Federal Glass themselves. We'll go through that. They were the first one, but they stamped theirs and let you know that it was a reproduction. The other company who did these, and did these ones a lot, was Indiana Glass. Indiana Glass reproduced these, took off the special mark that Federal Glass had put on because they didn't care, and just started popping these babies out, as it were. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other things that are highly reproduced in this pattern. So here's a really good close-up look at the seams on the butter dish. You can see the one on the left is the reproduction with the seam line running up and down, where the one on the right is the original running side to side. Here's how to identify the difference between the reproductions and the original on the teacups and sugar bowls. The one on the left is the reproduction. It has an oval on the attachment to the handle, whereas the one on the right is the original and has a teardrop shape. Now for the creamers, you'll see the reproduction, the one on the top, the rim or the pouring spout rises above the rim, and in the original, the pouring spout falls below the rim. Now, the salt and pepper shakers are a lot easier to identify the new from the old. You can see the difference here in this photograph. And Indiana Glass didn't stop with just making new colors, they made different shapes. A is actually a hurricane lamp and was made by attaching the candle to a tumbler, and B is a tumbler, also not sold in the original Madrid line. Here's another example of different shapes made by Indiana Glass. The one on the top is a fruit plate, and the one on the bottom is a cake stand. They made these by using a candlestick and attaching it to the dinner plates. Again, not sold in the original line of Madrid. Although Indiana Glass did make a different color, this is their teal color. So once again, not part of the original Madrid line. So pretty much anything you're going to find with a foot is going to be a reproduction made in the 70s and into the 80s. In these next slides, I wanted to show you all the different colors that it did come in, with the Madonna blue in the original line being the most sought after color. So let's head on to the next piece. What other depression glass are we going to try to identify? What is this? So this next piece is a diamond quilted or flat diamond manufactured by the Imperial Glass Company. Now, why I had such a hard time identifying this piece is because in the photographs, it always appeared to me that the waffling or the diamond print was on the outside of the glass, not the inside of the glass. Turns out it was on the inside of the glass. Black is not as transparent, hence the reason I had difficulty identifying it. Now, as we go on, I wanted to show off these catalog pages that were from the original line. Aren't they really gorgeous? And look at the prices on these things, guys. Back in the day, they were actually really good prices. And as we travel along to the next slide here, this is images of the line originally produced by Imperial Glass. And if you note the ice bucket, that is a big BOLO. It is worth quite a lot of money and really, really hard to find. So what happened to the creamer? Well, I ended up by selling the creamer on eBay, and it sold the day I listed it. Apparently, this is a very hard color and pattern to find out there. It's not even listed on replacements.com. For now, the Indiana glass cake plate is staying in my collection because it's the only cake plate I own, and I kind of love it. So guys, be on the lookout for these two pieces, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think in the comments below, if you've come across these or not. Keep an eye out, guys. And please like this video. It really helps me create content. And don't forget to comment below. Let me know what you think. And as always, please subscribe. I'm coming close to a big milestone and could use the love. Until next time.